Welcome back to Between Two FARS. I'm Warneke Miller, and I am here with the amazing Michael Mark and the illustrious Robert Tepfer, two of my absolute favorite procurement attorneys. And we have been giving you some information to hopefully help you navigate those first 30 days. Suddenly you have a bid protest and you're trying to figure out which end is up. We've talked about filing the agency report. We've talked about the importance of a stay and continuing to get your requirements met. We've also talked to you about protective orders. Today, I'd like to talk to you about intervenors because they can become an important player in all of this. And unless you've done bid protests before, you may have never even heard of the word. So guys, what is an intervenor and what sort of issues do we need to consider when dealing with intervenors?
Well, an intervenor is the company that won the contract. They were the selectee. We've awarded them a contract. And the GAO rules say that the awardee, because they are certainly an interested party, having gotten the award, they have a right to intervene in the protest if they wish. They don't always want to do that, but they often do. They want to have a say. They want to be able to see what the arguments are and be able to put their 2 cents in. If they want to see if the intervener wants to be able to have access to the full file, they have to hire outside counsel. And the outside counsel will then be made part of the protective order so that they can see the documents. And they will be required to file a legal memo or comments on the agency report and on the protesters' comments on the agency report. And the GAO will consider them. And if they hold a hearing, they will invite the intervener to participate in that hearing. So the intervener, I view them as an ally, but they're not, their interests are not necessarily the same as ours. They want the contract and they want to say the other side was evil or incompetent or whatever. So you've got to be careful, but sometimes you can coordinate your tactics with them and make sure that the arguments that you're using are arguments that they're going to be able to tack on to as well. So my experience has been that some interveners just don't want to talk to you at all, and sometimes they want to be very involved. I'm willing to talk to the lawyers, and I am willing to share somewhat later drafts of the legal memo with them so that they have a sense of what the legal arguments are as we see them. Sometimes they have good comments, sometimes they don't have much of anything to say, and I've often had them provide me with their draft of their legal memo, and so I can see how they're attacking the problem, and sometimes I have comments for them. I don't spend a lot of time with the interveners, but it's helpful to know what they're thinking and what they're up to so that we are not working at cross purposes when we do our filings. And I know Bob has a somewhat less favorable view of interveners.
Okay. When it comes to interveners, Bob, can you parade the horribles for us?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Michael's talking about your new best friend, okay?
No, I didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
Well, that's the way they come off. I mean, they'll come on and they'll effectively, compliment the wisdom in the source selection statement and go into detail on what a wonderful thing they have. You got to remember, though, when you're dealing with these folks, is since a lot of these large companies deal with one law firm, these are the same folks that 6 months to a year from now, if the award is successful, going to be filing a claim against you, okay? And they will structure arguments and do interpretations which, are favorable, and they may be subliminal, they may be embedded in there. You got to be careful because you're effectively acquiescing to what they say, or you could, or if you buy into their arguments and embed them in yours, that you got to live with later. And they just make me nervous. I like taking cases from them, but I understand who they are and what the long-term relationship is going to be. And, I wouldn't say that I haven't used a few of their cases and everything, but never lose sight of their relationship with their client and the long-term impact that it could have on us.
Yeah, I agree, Bob. I will not embed their arguments into mine. And I have not seen them often embed any of our arguments into theirs. But it's helpful to know what their thinking is. Often the arguments are similar. Sometimes they're even the same, but we've done it independently. But I agree with you. I'm not going to normally just take their arguments and drop them into mine. They're not writing my brief.
All right.
You got to be
Sorry,
careful.
go ahead, Bob.
You got to be careful because I have seen younger attorneys think this is genius. I'm going with it, and you don't want expressly or impliedly some kind of acquiescence to facts that you don't want to get into, or you certainly don't want to concede at this early point in time.
All right. So to summarize, interveners are not evil, but their interests may differ from NASA's and don't always align with ours. So proceed with caution. We appreciate you joining us on Between Two FARS. We look forward to seeing you again next time.
Bye-bye.